I'm watching a lot of movies that I'm not used to watching. I think it started with I Heart Huckabees, thanks to, G. Um, that's my professor, by the way. My other philosophy professor at NLC. His name is Mr. Gillespie. So, with that being said, let's talk about the following.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about this episode of New Girl. And I'm going to talk about forgetting Sarah Marshall. And then I'm going to talk about how I shouldn't talk about either of these. Okay, so the episode that I want to talk about with New Girl is the 23rd, which is when Jess is dating this guy who is just like her. Like, it's almost perfect, but she wants to go slower in the relationship than him, and he says that he can't wait. He can't, and that's why he breaks up with her. And that was pretty sad. And of course, I understand that the show leads up to Jess and Nick being together, which is, fantastic, but I want to focus more on the fact that timing not working out for a specific individual and how that affects relationships. It's too bad. It's too bad that happens, and I wish that I wasn't a victim of it, but I am. And it's not like I'm a victim like, oh, poor me, but it's just like, that's how life is. Like, it's not, there's no such thing as fairy tales, unfortunately, for all of us who love fairy tales like me. I mean, this sort of reminds me of Peter Pan 2003, because what happens is Peter Pan, he gives Wendy an acorn because he didn't know what a kiss was. It was hilarious. But yeah, this sort of pulls from that, but it has nothing to do with that at the same time. Anyways, I love fairy tales. That's all I was saying there. So, in that episode, it's just to show that timing, it doesn't work. Doesn't work all the time, but eventually, 5 seasons later, I don't know how long it takes, but like 5 seasons later, you'll have the love of your life. Oh, I'm being stupid now. Anyways, so that's the New Girl. And now we're going to talk about forgetting Sarah Marshall. As I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm Peter, who is Jason Segel's character. I don't know how to say his name. I'm sorry. But yeah, like Peter. I said I relate to Marshall. I'm so stupid. I was writing this at night. But I said, yeah, I relate to Peter is what I meant. Even though I'm not a white male, and I'm not a show composer for my ex-girlfriend's show, and that I am not at all in his situation. But the takeaway, really, from Mila Kunis, I'm sorry if I said her name wrong. I don't know why I can't say it. Anyways, what I loved was that when she saw, when Jason Segel came back to her, Peter came back to her and told her how, I did something with my ex-girlfriend, but it's not real because I really love you. She really stood her ground. She was like, no, just don't talk to me, don't text me, don't write letters, nothing. And for her to do that, even though she really, really connected with him, was really shocking. And yeah, I know they had sex, but that's not I think movies show that because, yes, we live in a culture who's like, it doesn't really matter, but their movies, for them, sex is a way of saying there's a connection. Or that they're connecting. It's like, it's supposed to be very, it's part of the character development. So I understand that, even though I don't think movies need that, but it's part of, it's part of the imagery. It's part of the rhetoric. That's what I meant to say. But I loved how wise Mila Kunis was by refusing Jason Segel's character. It's very wise. And it ended up working out for them. See? But now I want to go to my next point, which is why I shouldn't be talking about these shows at all. So, I'm a Christian. I'm a philosopher. I'm pursuing it. I am someone who loves. I'm someone who's very emotional. But I'm also someone who wants to be logical and do things by truth. But I'm also someone who knows that you can't predict everything. So for me to watch these shows, it's more just like this, I hope something great happens at the end, And, it's something that I need to get over. Like, I need to stop, just holding on so much to this idea I have of someone. I need to stop doing that as a way of thinking that that's how my life will get going. Like, I need to push my life along because, okay, I'm not making sense right now. But here, let me just say this real quick. So, the episode of New Girl that I was referring to was titled The 23rd, which was funny because I think it took place on the 25th. Unless I'm just not reading right. I mean, here, let me Google it. Google. Let's see what. New Girl, see, it is the 23rd. When I doubt it takes place on the 23rd. Okay. Anyway, so let's get back to talking. So, in that episode, it was just the title alone, I was like, oh gosh, I'm looking forward to the 23rd too. For me, the 23rd is a big day of this month, actually. Because that's when I met someone, and where I don't know. No, I do know. I just don't know how to say it without feeling like I'm relapsing. Even though I can't stop, I can't stop thinking about them, so. But yeah, on the 23rd of this month, it's a big deal. And I even look forward to a few things that are coming out. One thing for sure that I'm looking forward to is Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs. It'll be a stop motion. It's hilarious. At least I assume it's hilarious. I love Wes Anderson. Like his films. And honestly, I think he's a very interesting person. Like, I would hope to know him. Just not in the way you're thinking. Or maybe just the way I'm thinking. Who knows? I apologize. But yeah, so the 23rd, I look forward to that movie. And I remember thinking, when I found out that movie was coming out on the 23rd, I was like, oh man, I hope I see it with this guy. And right now, that's very clear. It's very clear that the 23rd is going to be coming a lot faster than me talking to a boy. So, but another thing, on the 23rd, there's a movie coming out where I'm like, oh, this is stupid, because it's another movie about a girl who's sick or has this like devastating disease, but she falls in love with a guy who's healthy or something. The sick person movies. I understand. It's supposed to be, maybe it's supposed to be very good figure of speech, you know? Good, uh, whatever. I'm not an English person, but I'm not excited about that movie. I think it's stupid, but I haven't even seen it, so. But hey, I already love a Wes Anderson movie that hasn't come out yet, so can't get mad at me. I'm just a stupid person in general. And I use that very loosely, by the way. I'll say stupid for a lot of things. Anyway, so let's go back to the 23rd, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. These movies are fun. These shows are great. But I'll be honest, shows and all that, there was a reason why I was actually taking a break from even Netflix at some point last year. I stopped watching The Office because I was so, like, dedicated to Michael Scott, Steve Carell's character, and his relationship with Holly. I was so dedicated to them. And it just made me self-centered again. It just made me think about how my world isn't working the way I want it to. And yeah, so shows are great, and they could be great distractors. But there's a reason why they're distractors and not sources of wisdom in any way. And just be careful. I remember I was watching, there was one episode where Schmidt was talking about one night stands, I think. It was the Valentine's Day episode in season 1. And Schmidt said that he knows how to do one night stands because of watching so many shows. And I was just like, that sounds like me. Like right now, at least. I'm trying to seek wisdom from all these shows, these movies. Don't want to be stupid. I don't want to be Schmidt. So yeah, just be careful. Don't be stupid. Don't be Schmidt. Yeah, we're going to talk about those things now.